All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Abs, Anything But Sports. I am your first host, John.
I'm your second host, Danial.
Where's Sawyer, you may be asking? Sawyer's not here, so Danial has replaced him.
This is true, yeah. I have replaced Sawyer. I am Sawyer now. But you can call me Danial for all purposes.
And today's guest is...
Brian.
Welcome, Brian. How are you feeling today?
Tired but good, as per usual.
And isn't that funny that we both currently work in sports, and this is the Anything But Sports podcast?
Thank God. No, thank God. I didn't even want to work in sports. It's just like a fluke.
Really?
Well, that was the sleep problem. That's how it got into it. Because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do entertainment. When I first got my job at Turner, they were like, oh, yeah, this would be great. Then I was like, 6 a.m. call time, 7 a.m. call time. So those like 12 to 14-hour days.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I can do whatever to push through to make it in the industry. Then I was like, fuck that. Like, I hate it. Then sports are like, oh, you don't have to be there till 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah, like
and I was
super
like,
late.
Thank you, God. But then we go till 2 a.m. when I was like,
Right.
I was like, well, I'm up anyway, so whatever. But
Well, what did you originally want to do? You said entertainment, but was there any specific sector or?
At first, I was like, oh, I want to be like a producer. And then I was like, I don't really want to do that. And then I kind of really didn't know what to do because I was like up all the time. And I was like, this is horrible.
What made you change your mind from being not wanting to be a producer?
The sleep. Yeah. Which is embarrassing because it's like, let's keep talking about that one thing. Like, everywhere I go in life, like, oh, you keep saying that. I'm like, what to say? So.
That's fair, though. That's fair.
But that's what got me into sports. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep doing this because it worked. And I was like going to sleep at 3 and then waking up at noon. I'm like, I feel great. This is great.
Yeah. So did you always want to be a producer? Like when you were little, were you like, man, I really want to work in media? Or was there something else?
That's a good question. What did I want to do when I was little? No, I wanted to own a business, but I didn't really know what that meant because I have a terrible work ethic. So I just like
just kind of telling on yourself.
I was like, well, I don't want to do that shit. And then I was like, oh, I kind of want to be a housewife, like a stay-at-home mom. That would be a really good idea. And I could never really hone in on one thing. I always kind of like to bounce around. So then I was like, oh well, entertainment sort of freelance. So you just kind of bounce around and do whatever. And I kind of been this like hippie life, I guess.
Yeah.
Then I got into yoga, and then that was
okay. Classic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Do you think you find fulfillment in what you do right now, or would you prefer to do something else? Like, would you prefer to own a business now that you know what owning a business is?
I think I kind of would. Well, not really. Okay. I don't want to do like a brick and mortar thing. I bought a class to do like blogging and digital marketing.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Okay, yeah, I haven't started yet. But that's kind of what I want to do, something freedom and just so I can kind of do several different things. Because I had a hard time, I guess you would say, honing down on one thing. So I'm like, I can't just be one person. Like I hated waking up and be like, I'm a doctor or I am a personal trainer or like, something like that. Like that just sounds horrific.
For sure.
Like, I just don't know how people can be one person. Like, there's like 8 or 9 people that are in my head, like, arguing for attention. I'm like, I can't be the only person like that.
Yeah. No, that's
I mean, maybe I am, but...
Sure.
I don't know if that answers the question or not.
No, it definitely does. Do you think, well, it seems like maybe one of those 9 people find fulfillment in what you do right now.
Yes, yeah. At least 1 or 2 are like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Because it is freelance, and I can be like, nah, fuck it, I don't want to come into work today.
Yeah.
Or be like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, let's book like 8 days in a row, and then just like, put your money up.
Where, that same vein of thought, where would you like to be in the near future?
Dude, I was just thinking about that last night. I want to be able to have something that will just pay me, like a blog or something that could just pay you.
So just a regular job.
Something, but I create it.
Right.
And then I can kind of just freelance and then do yoga like outside.
So like some form of passive income?
Yeah, some form of passive. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Exactly, yeah. Well, I guess everyone's on that train nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, like, even if it's just like $8,000 a month, like, which is a lot. That's a lot of money, but I mean, not really.
That'd be nice, though.
That'd be nice, right?
You live comfortably.
And you can just live comfortably, and you can kind of bounce around. Because I have ADD, so I'm like, I don't have to go to work like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday. Like, oh my God, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. Don't be staring. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? Like, how are you supposed to get better or like advance in any section if you're always just working for somebody else? Like,
you have to have like a true
ridiculous.
passion for that stuff,
Right.
which I don't have, and I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So I also have ADD, and like I dabble in all sorts of different arts and stuff too. I
That's
think
cool.
but it's like it's totally in our nature though.
I think so too. Like, you mean like human nature?
Well, I mean humans with ADD nature.
Oh yeah. Agreed.
Like very specified.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I don't understand how you can just have one. Like I said earlier, like I don't get how you can be one person throughout your life. Like, we change. I mean, yeah, we have like a general idea of passions and stuff, but I just don't get it. Like,
So do you think a job should represent who you are as a person?
yes.
You think it should? Okay.
Yeah. I think we change all the time, so that's why I like the freelance. It's like, oh, I can come here and then I can leave. Like,
Yeah, work for
when
like
I saw
8 weeks.
Aries the other day, just like running around. I'm like, oh my God, you've been here all week, haven't you? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, just the 2 or 3 days that I'm on, I'm like, that's plenty.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How does someone working in the media industry, where hours obviously are incredibly long
right.
and very abnormal, how do they take care of their health? How do they find time during the day to eat what they need to eat and exercise?
They don't. I don't think they do. Which is part of the reason why I want to like start something on my own, so I can be like, all right, I have something coming, like income coming in from like a passive income source. So like, if I book a couple days, then great. But then like, I have to prioritize that, and I don't think you can. Like, because I was going to apply for this job the other day, they're like, oh yeah, for a teleprompter, you have to have 24/7 hour availability, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, just sell your soul pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm like, what does that mean? They're gonna call you like in the night, and, like
3 a.m.
go over 3 a.m. like go over scripts.
Teleprompter.
Yeah, teleprompter. Like, we have a script for tomorrow. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? Prompt over here? Like, like, I think that's just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get the industry sometimes when you're building something creative, like a film or like a broadcast or sports. Like, it does take time, like a lot of time to make that happen.
For sure.
So, something that I've seen happen outside of sports, in the film world, that I've barely worked in. I think I
barely worked in.
I think I may have talked about this before on the podcast, but I worked with a guy great guy, like awesome guy.
This is in film, yeah.
This is in film, but he like had a set routine of going to the gym every single day at 4 a.m. before coming into work. And I asked him, I was like, well, what time do you go to bed? And he said, usually around 11. So every night he was getting 5 hours of sleep. And I was like, dude, like, good on you for like making time to prioritize physical,
go to the gym.
Yeah, health, but you're gonna die.
Yes, 5 hours sleep.
That's not good.
That's not good. And I only slept maybe 3 hours last night.
Jeez.
For the 700th time.
Yeah.
It's not good. I'm fat as shit.
So I just think it is so, like, one of the many things that I think is unfortunate about working in media is how a lot of people, just like yourself, have this mindset of, I'm going to work until I get to the point where I don't have to work anymore. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, because there's so many people that are like, I don't really enjoy what I do because it takes up so much time.
So much time.
So I'm going to get to a point where I'm either getting paid so much that I only have to work like 10 days a month.
A month, yeah, exactly, and just churn it out.
Yeah, or just, buy something that then produces passive income and then completely forget about the media industry, like, in general.
In general, yeah, dude, yes. Or tweak it. So I can just be like, okay, yeah, I can come in on Tuesdays.
Yeah, so what do you think the happy medium is there? Do you think there is one? Like, what do you think a compromise would be?
Oh, I hate that word. That's probably me being a selfish bitch, but like, I also don't think. I don't know. Like, I don't know if we should compromise for anything. Sometimes I think it might be unavoidable, I guess. Like, just in existence, sometimes you compromise without it, like I said, like, oh, shit, well, I need a job. I have to go to work, so, like, I guess I can't go to the gym. So I guess there's compromise built into that by accident. Because if I was like, oh, if I already had, like, passive income coming in, I'm like, no, I'm going to the gym. Like, I can't make call time, or I can come later, or something like that. And I don't really know why like, a day is 12 hours. Like, I don't understand why that's even there. I guess maybe elements, like if you're shooting outside or on location, it takes time to set that up. So maybe somebody can speak better to that than I can, but I just don't see why it has to take that long. Like, what's a PA doing for 12 hours a day?
That's what I was going to say.
Like, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, which they say built in, which I get, because, like, you have to set up in the morning from, like, 7 to 9 a.m. or whatever your call time is. I'm like, okay, wait for talent who doesn't come till 5 or whatever their thing. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
So, maybe split shifts. I know NBA TV used to do split shifts. And that was pretty cool. So, like, the second runner or second PA would come in at whatever time. Well, their call times are later, so they came in at, like, 4. Like, the other first runner could leave maybe, like, 6 or 8, or sometimes, like, after dinner, like, after, like, bigger things had happened. And, like, okay, you're good. And, like, yeah, and they just dip out. And you still get paid your full day rate for, like, 8 hours, 8 to 10. So I'm like, okay, that's not terrible. So I think maybe better planning and just, like, really sitting down, like, do we really need a 12-hour day? Like, what's happening? And it's like,
no, I agree. I think split shifts would be a really good idea.
I think that's mandatory now.
Yeah. But also, I don't know. I've always wondered who came up with the 12-hour day. Who said, you know what, this is going to be standard.
Yeah.
This is what everyone is going to do.
This is what everyone going to do.
Yeah, 12 hours.
Some coked out man who just had all the coke available
just
all day and night. He's just like, why don't we do 13 hours instead?
Yeah,
like,
13.
No, 12 is fine. He's like, fine, we can do 12.
And that's like, 12 usually minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I was reading some article, like, even actors would have, like, 5 a.m. call times, like, 3-hour makeup. And then they're like, okay, they're going to shoot for 9 hours. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for some things, sure. Like, Shape of Water, where they had that whole costume. Like, I guess so. Or The Grinch. I saw something with Jim Carrey. He said, why do I have to sit here and do makeup for 5 hours?
Yeah.
And his interview was like, just for the kids, it's for the kids. And he kept repeating that to himself. He's like, just do it, just do it. And he would smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know that.
Just to end off that segment, something that I found, I'm in plenty of those Facebook groups where it's like, we need a PA, or we need, like, Crew Call, for example, is one of, like, the largest Facebook groups.
I've never heard of that.
And anyway, it wasn't in Atlanta, it was some other place that they were looking for crew. And I'm pretty sure this was a broadcast position.
Okay.
Where they were like, hey, we need a PA, we need an A1 and A2, and all these other positions that were available. And every other position was like the minimum was like 450, 500, 600, 700 a day. And it got to like videographer, like all these like very high paying positions. And the PA was just like 210. And I was like, and I was
over
like,
12 minimum. And you're like,
and I was like, in my mind, I thought, all right, at least it's 210. At least it's not 150.
Yes.
So I was just looking though at the just block of positions that were available and all of their like designated monetary amounts. And I was like, man, it is just so crazy to me that the PA, the pay for a PA is just so far from all these other positions. And something that I've had to explain to like all of my family is like, if I move up from a production assistant, freelance production assistant, to a freelance production coordinator, I'm going to be paid like 3 times what I'm being paid right now. And it's like, in a corporate setting or any like sales position or any like regular job.
Okay, yeah.
You'll get like a holiday bonus, or you'll get like a 5% increase in your salary,
exactly, which is taxed for 50%.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm getting like a 300%
right.
increase in my salary. And I don't know, that, obviously life is not about money, but just knowing that there is that waiting for me, I guess, is a driving factor.
Yeah, that's true. That is a positive thing to think about. But
let's change course a bit. I want to ask about growing up. So once you transitioned into the media world, how did your parents feel about that? Were they supportive? Have they changed how they feel? What's been the story about Brian working in media with his parents?
Oh, my mother, Jesus. My parents are not. I mean, I'm kind of a black sheep of a child, so on all fairness, my parents, they tried their best.
Sure.
And I'm very spoiled, considering, very thankful. But I remember in college, I was like, I was a chemistry major at first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Super nerdy.
Me too.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was pre-med.
I love it. What? What happened?
I just didn't fuck with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. Dude, I aced chemistry through high school and through college.
Nice.
I was getting a 98 in the whole class every year. And I was you have to memorize the periodic table of elements. Sure, not a problem. Mm-hmm. It might take me a little longer because I'm a little bit slower with the ADD, but I'm I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Just aced it. And then one day I was nah. Kind of a late bloomer when I was 22. And I was I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't like this. I remember calling my mom I told her, I was I think I'm interested in media and more theater, something kind of more creative and fun. Sure. And she was you are not interested in that. And I was excuse me? Mm-hmm. She's you are not, this is ridiculous. And I was oh, okay, I'm really sorry. Maybe I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was always you're the parents, they might know
They
something.
know best.
Yeah, they
right?
know best,
yeah.
right? Yeah, you're trained as a kid to be that's what they know. And I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, which is fine. But I'm just very strict. Okay, shutting it down. Right. And my parents at the time were paying for college, so it's I don't want to be disrespectful.
Right.
And then I went to college in Milledgeville, Georgia, which is ridiculous.
Where's that?
It's south or middle Georgia. You know where Macon is?
Yeah.
It's an hour, 45 minutes south of Macon.
Gotcha.
Southeast is she. Coming from Alpharetta, Johns Creek, where if you didn't have a BMW as your first car, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Right?
Bro.
If you didn't and I had a really screwed up teeth, so I had a lot of plastic surgery, and they're if you didn't have veneers, if you weren't spending a lot of money at a young age, you're a loser.
Really?
Yeah. My girlfriend, we'll talk about that in high school, we crashed 2 BMWs, an Escalade, a Suburban, a Chevy Impala, another Escalade.
Jeez.
And we were 18?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. And I wanted dental work, and I was my dad's that's gonna be $20,000. I'm just sign the check, bitch. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then of course my grandparents got me a car, and then I was I want another BMW. And that's the college you grow up with. And, not college, high school that I was at. Right. So then I go to Milledgeville, which is ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And they're oh my God. I was this sucks. This sucks. Even if I did chemistry, I'm this sucks.
Yeah.
And so I tried to do theater, and then my mom's no, you can't do that. And so I just stopped going to class. I was fuck this. I'm not going to this class.
So you didn't finish with accounting or something?
No, my parents forced me to go back into business classes. So I did accounting and all that other stuff, management. Right. And I was I hated accounting. Really? I was I can't do this. Mm-hmm. I don't know what this means. And I hated 8 a.m. classes. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was I don't, fuck it, I'm not going. And I got into partying, and I discovered NyQuil. I discovered drugs and alcohol, and I was 21. I'm this is great fun. Who doesn't love drinking? So, yeah, I partied in college, didn't go to class, and I failed the entire semester. Everything. A 0.
So I was in a similar boat, too, where I was partying a lot while I was in pre-med. And you just have to have time for pre-med. If you don't value that, then you're not going to do well. Unless you're just gifted and it really clicks with you, which wasn't the case for me. So was that the case that you were what did you like more actually? Did you like accounting more or did you like pre-med? Because they're both really similar in the sense of it's black and white. You have to memorize, study the textbook,
I liked pre-med more, like chemistry, like organic chemistry, all that stuff. I loved it.
Why is it?
I don't know. I guess I just love science. I like the kind of the nature, and there's I think more of an artistic feel to science in
That's
a way
true.
than like
Just
accounting,
numbers.
business, and numbers,
Yeah.
and we corporate and like get them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but chemistry is like you have biology and you have plants and
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's
It's
your
like there's a
favorite class you
relationship.
took in chemistry or like in sciences?
ooh,
Plants 101.
right, plants 101. Photosynthesis. Organic chemistry probably.
Really?
Yeah,
I
maybe
didn't-
biology too. I love that.
Yeah, microbiology was my
Oh,
favorite.
microbiology. Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
applicable.
I love that.
I mean, like, yeah, I think I like anything that's practical.
Yeah,
Like
me
practical
too, yeah.
information, you know.
I just love the relationship between like humans and nature and like humans and science.
True.
Because it's like you say, it's very practical and like we do it every day. And I just found like business just to be so inhuman
Yeah.
and like unnatural. 'Cause
Heartless.
heartless. Yeah, they just cared about let's get this corporate structure and let's add people and they just like there's just no flow to it. There's no care. I'm like, oh, this is awful. So my parents took me out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to come back home, which was horrific.
Mm.
And then I started working at American Girl at a restaurant, the doll store. I don't know. Have you ever been there?
No.
Well, I think it closed down now in the pandemic, but it's the dolls, okay?
Mhm.
So that these dolls are cost like $100 back in, what year is it? Like 1995 or however
It
old
was
I
a
was.
long time ago.
A long
Yeah.
time ago. They had a restaurant. So then people from all over the South would come to Atlanta to bring their kids a doll, or buy their kids a doll and bring the doll to the little kid restaurant. And I was a server until I got fired. And you would have to sit the doll, and then the little kid would have its birthday party there. And Blake worked there too in New York. Hi,
No
Blake.
way.
Yes, he worked the New York one. I was like, what the fuck, Blake?
Bro.
It's awful. I mean, they paid a lot of money. I would make $2,000 every Saturday. Yeah.
I should work there.
They closed, but dude, the money was good for
That's
like a
pretty
restaurant.
good, yeah.
So I was like, well, whatever. Would you have to take the doll and you have like, hi, happy birthday, Susan. How many dolls do you have in your party? Like, oh, you have 6 dolls, and you have to go and you get the little chairs for the dolls, and you have to take them to the table. Hi, Susan, and you put the doll next to him. This is Felicity. Felicity's dressed very pretty tonight. And it had this little doll cup and tea saucer next to her, and I was like, "This is so gay." I'm so embarrassed. And take their order, and they had all this little fondue dips, and it was cheap ass food.
Sure.
And they would pay like $200 for a party of 4 people, and the poor dads. Oh my god, the dads would just be shaking, handing their credit card, being like, "I spent $900 in your store."
Oh god.
And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Why is this food another $125
Yeah.
That's
for
brutal.
curly fries and like cheese?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"So sorry."
It's
But
the
we got
experience.
paid. Yeah, it's the experience for
Yeah.
a little kid's doll to sit there.
Right.
And they would make a ton of money in that place.
How did you get fired?
I got fired from being a server because I was shit.
Oh, okay.
I would forget to bring people their drinks
Oh, okay.
over and over again. So I get so nervous because I hated people. I want to go over there and I'm like, "Oh, can I take your drink order?" Write it down. I come back. "Oh, what do you want to eat?" Write that shit down. Order the food and completely forget about
the
the
drinks.
table. And then I'll go back with their food. I'm like, "Do y'all need anything else?" Like a complete idiot. And they're like, "Yeah, our drinks would be nice. Been waiting for 30 minutes." I was
Yeah.
like,
Shit.
shit.
Yeah.
I was like, "Sorry." So that was the end of that. They moved me to be a hostess after that. Or man host, whatever
Yeah.
you call it. Horrific. But we got paid so good.
That's
Paid
awesome.
$15 an hour, and then we could take tables after that.
Nice.
So on a Saturday, I would make $2,000 every Saturday.
Wow.
Max.
That's pretty good.
That's
That was
crazy.
pretty good. So then I worked there for like 5 years because I was like, why leave?
Yeah.
Like,
Why
as
not?
embarrassing as it is, like we would get out at like 11 at the latest
Mhm.
on a Saturday, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So I got an apartment with a friend of mine in Midtown, and we just lived it up.
That's awesome.
Okay, cool.
We ask this to every guest. No, actually, we ask 2 questions every guest. But this one is very important, and feel free to take time to think about it.
Okay.
How do you define success?
I think internal happiness. Like if you feel confident and excited about yourself, then I think that's success.
Are you confident
Ooh, some days.
and excited about yourself?
Some days I am, some days I'm not.
No?
I don't really know why, other than like health problems, but I guess I have a low-key high expectation of myself. Like, I always need to be doing something and to stay engaged. So I guess I overload myself mentally. So sometimes I do feel like a failure. I'm like, oh, I need to do all this. I need to do all this. I need to do all this in life. And it's just not possible.
So some days you would feel successful and other days you would not.
Yeah, because I'm like an experience addict.
Mm.
Like, I don't need to experience, like, so many different things. Like, I just think that life is full of different experiences. Like, we should just experience everything you can get. Like, having one job is a nightmare. Like, I want to just do, like, 18 different things in a day. Like,
Brian, if you could sum up this entire conversation into one word, what would that word be?
freeing.
Freeing. I like that one. Why?
I like talking. I think it kind of in the beginning, when you start a conversation, like of any type in the world, you're a little nervous. And you're like, oh, what's going to be in it? When you start talking, kind of, it just pulls everything out. So I think a podcast and just in general, like I love like talk shows and stuff like that. So I think just that form of talking slowly starts to relax people and like open up, and it's just a very healthy form. Like we're meant to communicate with one another. We're meant to like have social relationships. So,
100%.
yeah, freeing. That's a very freeing experience.
Well, I like it.
That's a really good word. I wouldn't have thought it. That's pretty out of the box. That's a good one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, out of the box. Oh, thank
God. Well, Danial, do you want to end this off?
Yeah. Let's see. How do I end this off? You've been watching Anything But Sports. I'm Danial.
And I'm John. We'll see you next week when we have another scheduled guest that we know already.
And I'll be white next time. Thank you.
Goodbye.